I can't tell you how many people ask if number one, if I teach astrology because I'm really good at talking about it and I make it super understandable and just people love the way I explain things. But I also get asked when they find out that no, I don't teach astrology. I don't have some like astrology teaching course. That's not what my offers are, even though this is astrology magic. I say it's astrology magic because astrology is a tool to create deep and profound transformation in your life. It's not that astrology is the end all be all. And it's actually also why I'm really hesitant and careful where I shove people over to learn astrology, especially when I tell them I'm not like a astrology teacher. And I don't think I ever will full out teach astrology unless it's always combined with deep healing. And I'm going to tell you why. And I'm also going to tell you why I'm careful about where I send people to learn astrology because for some reason, at some point in humanity, we became so wrapped up in understanding the science behind things and getting it right and needing something to be perfect and thinking that we have these answers from all of this study and research we've done outside of ourselves. And so one of the most damaging things I have seen in the astrological space is how certain teachers teach astrology and say, I've studied ancient wisdom of astrology that's been thousands of years and I know it better than anyone else, better than these fake astrologers, so you should listen to me. I have the real right astrology. I cannot tell you how dangerous it is that there are people allowed to say that on the internet. And why I'm just like, this is why I hold teaching astrology at the 10-foot pole, because it is against my values to tell you that there is a specific, detailed, perfect way to interpret astrology like some astrologers will make you believe. It makes it so inaccessible. It's why people think astrology is so hard and complicated. Let me just tell you here, simply, astrology is an art and a science. It is not just a science. The thing is so many of us have been taught that it's a science, that science feels so complicated these days that people think astrology is complicated, when astrology is the farthest thing from complicated. The farthest thing from complicated. It is only complicated when you're disconnected from yourself and your own intuition. It's only complicated when you think it's a science. It's only complicated when you think there are exact, right, specific answers out there. And if you interpret something one way from your intuition because that's what felt right to you, then it's wrong because this other famous astrologer said, no, there's this little specific detail. BS. And you might be listening to me and thinking, wait, Rachel, well, then how is astrology real at all if I can't trust that that's the right way to interpret it? Let me ask you something. Have you ever sat down with an astrologer and every single little minor thing they said was true and came true exactly the way they said it? I'm willing to bet there's never an astrologer or a psychic on the face of this planet that tells you down to the specific detailed word that it's accurate, every single bit of it. Why? I talk about this in my channel all the time because there are limitless combinations in astrology. Limitless. Because astrology is an art and a science, and the science does create a structure. There is a structure to the chart. There's a structure how to read a chart. There is some structure. There is some science. But here's the thing. Once you learn the bare bones of a chart, the deeper understanding of astrology, and this is when people get really accurate at astrology and really good at astrology, and it's why people have said to me, wow, Rachel, you're as good as astrologers I know who are in their 60s who have been doing this for 40 years. I get that from a lot of people who have worked with a lot of astrologers for a long time. It is not because I have 40 years of astrology under my belt. I'm 31 years old. I don't even have 30 years of astrology under my belt. I have 5 years, and it was after the 5th year of studying astrology that I studied it in a past life if you look at my birth chart, so it just clicked in my head and I was like, I know everything. It actually pisses me off to look at any other astrologers now because when I hear them, it's accurate, but it takes away from my own intuition, which my intuition will tell me the same story as them, but in a slightly different way. And if I were to listen to them and how they interpret astrology, it just brings me into my head out of my intuition and makes me more anxious. And then I don't tell you my true channel's experience of the astrology in a way that is connected to my soul, connected to truth, and connected to true astrology. Because here's the thing, if you listen to my podcast episode with Mary Buckingham, she's an Akashic record reader. When she reads people, she says everyone looks like a projection of their stars. That's what I feel like when I read someone's chart. I feel their chart in my body. I feel what it feels like. And that's because astrology is just a bunch of archetypes interacting with each other. It's kind of like you've watched a movie, you know all the characters in the movie, and there's going to be a sequel, and then someone tells you this character and this character are gonna get together and have a good time. And you can imagine what that could look like. You could imagine how that could evolve. That's astrology. That is how you become really good at reading astrology. And that is one of the reasons why I don't want to teach astrology, because I get angry. I get angry at the way it's taught. I think it disempowers people. I think it makes a lot of people who study astrology from their head for so many years and are still sucky at reading charts. If you've ever met an astrologer who sucks at astrology, it's likely because they're so in their head. And want to know the other thing? It is really hard to give a good astrology reading if you have not deeply embodied your own astrology, connected to your own astrology, and gone through deep healing in your life. There's no way you will be able to relay truth and messages in a way that empowers people. Because astrologers who only learn the facts and stay in their head are the ones who say things that make people not believe in astrology, or make people, or they're the charlatans. They're the ones who people get readings from and are like, wow, that was, whoa. Because astrology is, again, say it with me, an art and a science. And so if you truly want to learn astrology, it starts with you. It's why I talk about astrology magic and deep healing with astrology. It's why people in my Cosmic Co-Creatrix membership who have been in there for a long time start to deeply learn astrology. It's not because I'm teaching astrology in there. I'm teaching them how to follow their own astrology, and through connecting to themselves and what I'm talking about in the energy reports, and then connecting more to the energy throughout the week, that's how they learn it. And they learn it in a really embodied way, a deep understanding of it. That's why I can intuitively tell you all these different ways energies are playing out, because I have a very deep understanding of it. Same thing as if you've already watched a movie before and you know these two characters very well and you know they're going to get together in the next movie. You can probably guess a million different ways that could play out. It's not one way. Because astrology is never going to play out one way. And this is why you can always transcend your chart. And the deeper you heal through your own astrology, the deeper you understand astrology. The deeper you heal through your own astrology, the deeper you understand how to help other people heal through their own astrology. And so again, if you also want to learn astrology to help other people heal, and you're doing it in this very mentally focused mindset way, and you're not truly integrating it through your own chart into your life, you're not going to be that great at teaching it at all. Oh my God, I can tell you. So there is this woman who's really big on YouTube who I actually got my birth chart certification readership through, and I learned astrology through her channel. I also learned astrology through, but I more so learned astrology through studying everyone else in my life's chart, observing them, noticing them, thinking about them all the time. I am constantly thinking about what's going on in the sky, what's happening in my life, what's happening in my chart, and what's happening in the people I love's charts, and then looking at it and then talking to them about it. That's how you learn astrology. It is way more intuitive and way less sciencey than many courses would like you to believe. All you have to know is the bare bones. And you learn the bare bones really quickly when you're following it on a weekly basis and using it to heal. So you want to be the best at learning astrology, the best at it. And I mean the best at it so you can then help other people with it. It starts with you. Will I ever teach astrology? I will teach people astrology because I've been asked this so many times. It's not even funny. I will teach astrology as long as it is alongside a deep healing path when I'm working with a person. And to be honest, I would prefer to do it one-on-one with people because it's deep. If you really want to learn it in a way that's going to make you an expert and be able to use this on other people in your life. So, I don't know. I might do a group thing one time, but right now I'm really enjoying talking about it on a weekly basis in my Cosmic Co-Creatrix membership, giving them ChatGPT prompts so they can understand the science, the core bones of what's happening in the sky and as it relates to their chart. And then when they ask ChatGPT will tell them, this planet's transiting your 6th house because of this ChatGPT prompt, and this is the planet's transiting in the sky. So it will get you familiar with what it feels like for a planet to transit the 6th house. It will tell you what to reflect on. And in that moment, I'm just giving an example, you will be like, oh, this is what the 6th house is like. This is the 6th house in my life. This is how people in my membership have learned astrology quickly. I've had people tell me, wow, I've actually understand astrology now. And it's only because they've been following it. It's happening in their life. It's very evident and clear. Not much to think about. But when you're just learning about it from something outside of you, from a course, you're having to sit and think, and it's just more confusing. It just is. So that's my best advice if you want to learn astrology, is it starts with deeply connecting to you and your chart. It starts with following the astrology on a daily and weekly basis. And then it starts with you getting a clear idea of the bare bones of the science of astrology. And then because you've been practicing that science with your intuition and what's going on in your daily life, and then also looking at other people's in your daily life and what's going on in their daily life with that astrology, that's how you're going to best learn it. That's how you're going to be better at talking about it than anyone else. That's how you're not going to feel anxious when you're giving readings and helping other people because you're like, is this the right answer? There is no right answer. Same thing with the 2 movie characters, and they're in the sequel. What's going to happen? You're never going to guess the one thing that's going to happen with them. You're never going to. You're going to have many guesses of what could happen based on how you know those characters to be and what they could evolve into. So, I trust that this helps you understand astrology a little deeper. It helps you understand that it's actually a tool to connect to yourself. And the more you use it to connect to yourself and heal yourself, the more you can use it to help others connect to themselves and heal themselves. It's the reason why when people listen to my podcast, they say, wow, you explain it more clear than anyone. Wow, I actually have deep healing when I listen to you. It's because that's why it's different. That's why people want to learn from me. But this is the coolest thing, is when you learned it in this way, it benefits you first. It is life-changing for you first. And that is truly being the embodiment of what you teach. And it's the only thing that's going to fly these next 20 years with Pluto and Aquarius anyways. You're not just going to be able to learn something, be like, I learned it, teach it, haven't embodied it yet. It's not going to work for you. This is the age of authenticity. So hopefully this answers all of you people who think I teach astrology. I kind of do, but I teach it in a very embodied way. I teach you how to learn it in a very embodied way. If you want to learn it in the way that I just talked about, and you also want the deep healing, then I have 1 spot left for one-on-one coaching. My other spot was taken the other week. So 1 spot left. We will do deep healing with your birth chart consistently and constantly. You have me in your ear. And you can learn astrology at the same exact time. It's not an astrology course. It's not what I'm doing. I don't think I'll ever do that because that's not the highest expression of my chart. The highest expression of my chart is using astrology as a tool for deep transformation and for doing what's fun for me. And this is what's fun for me, as you can tell. So I trust that this will teach you how to understand astrology. Let me know if this was helpful for you. And if you want to join the Cosmic Co-Creatrix, I will put that link down below. If you want to work one-on-one with me, you have to get a birth chart reading with me first. Book a birth chart reading down below. If you have gotten a birth chart reading with me and you want to work one-on-one with me, there's an application to apply for one-on-one coaching down below. And that is all I have to say. I love you guys. I'll see you on the next episode.